Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Edna White. I am your host of Keeping It Real on Purpose. And we have a special guest today by the name of Karen Hackman, who is a financial coach. Now, she's going to talk about a specific subject, but I might give it away, audience. You know, I'm always giving things away. So I'm going to tell you what she's going to talk about to keep you in suspense while we talk personal for a few minutes. So she is here to talk about building financial harmony, aligning with your finances with your spouse. I am excited to get into this, but I am introducing her today. How are you, Karen? How's everything going?
I am very well. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm super excited to be here with you.
Great. I am so excited. So, how do you show up in the world? Tell us that.
Okay, well, I am first and foremost a child of God. I am a pastor's wife. I am a mother of a teenager, and I am a finance coach. And in all of my roles, I am an encourager and a cheerleader.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. So let's just get into this because I know there's so many components of this. Get going, finance coach. Tell us what we need to know.
Okay, well, Edna, all my coaching experience and my advice that I give my clients is 100% experience and 100% truth. My husband and I got married over 20 years ago, and we had marriage prep classes, we had marriage mentors, and we even had a financial advisor. And you know what? No one ever told us the basics of financial literacy, the basics of financial empowerment. And it was, I am a saver and my husband is a spender. And we didn't really have a clue, not a clue what we were doing, And it was only a few years ago that I found Dave Ramsey on YouTube. And I know Dave Ramsey, you either love him or you don't love him at all. But you know what? He spoke such common sense. And I was like, wow. Why did nobody tell us this before? So, it was then, it took me, I guess, over a year to then get my husband on board. He was a very reluctant, spouse coming on board because he'd always been told that he was really bad with money. So he had like these hang-ups and terrible money mindset, right? But now we've changed that around, and we have changed our financial story and our family tree, and we are really excited. Like just recently, we live in Kenya, and we have been on safari, and we paid cash. And now a few years ago, that would never have been possible. So my job as a finance coach, I teach people what I wish I'd known 20 years ago, right? And I speak to couples and I speak to individuals. And individuals of all ages. I had a few clients recently. One lovely lady was in her early 20s and another guy was in his 50s, and just telling them, create that emergency fund, get rid of that debt, and get those sinking funds. Those sinking funds have been a complete game changer for us. Right. And a few people have said to me, wow, an emergency fund, that's such a great idea. And it seems that common sense isn't so common anymore. So I just love helping people to just win with money. Win with money in marriage is like where I feel God wants me to be right now. And giving people hope, because not being on the same financial page is hard work. But when you are on that same financial page, you can crush your money goals together. You can work as a team. And speaking from experience, life is so much easier when you're on the same page.
Absolutely.
That's where I came from, and that's my hope for the future, is just to empower people with their finances.
Okay. So like you said, your husband was the spender, you were the saver?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you start to work with those two opposites? What's one of the first steps or 3 steps that you can share with the audience?
Yeah, so you need to be patient, and you need to be calm, and you need to show a lot of grace. And it was hard work. And I am a morning person. I am up in the morning, and my husband is a night owl. So like I'll take him a cup of tea at like 6, 7 o'clock, and I've been awake for a few hours by then. And I would go, right, I've been thinking, and that wasn't the best time to speak to him. So I have learned that get, when he's in a good mood, say things like, right, I'd really like to talk about, can we afford this? Or can we talk about this credit card? Because I'm really worried that it's not going down as fast as we'd like it to, when we were on our debt journey. And just say to him, would the weekend be a great time to talk? Can we talk together at the weekend, and help him mentally prepare that that's coming, and not just spring it on. You know what I mean? So, and then when you do the budget, one of my top tips is always create as much of the budget as you can before you sit down together, because if he's reluctant or overwhelmed by the money situation, that he's just going to switch off. So just keep it as short and simple as you can. So, and just, I guess, highlighting in that communication and talking about where you are at right now, and we can't afford that trip to Disney World right now. We're going to need to save for that, and just helping them to see the bigger picture. And that, I think, has just been a complete game changer for us. And that's as the we all like to spend money, right? It's fun, yeah.
Oh, but sure, absolutely, no doubt.
Just thinking now that we can't afford it, and he, I don't want to sound patronizing, but we are doing so much better because he now thinks, and that sounds terrible, doesn't it? But if you can know what your spending triggers are, that's a huge thing. Know if you're just feeling down, or you're feeling,
that's good.
You're just a bit overwhelmed. You just want to go and buy a gadget, or you want to buy a new phone, or you want to buy a new outfit, or some new pair of shoes. You've got to, what those spending triggers are, and when you know what they are, you can be more in control of them without the spending triggers controlling you.
Right. Yeah. I think the biggest thing that for me as a person of, going out and entertaining a lot, and being a speaker, spontaneous spending over the last 3 years has been something that I really work on, because, once, like you said, I sat down and I looked at it, I was like, oh my gosh, and some of the stuff I didn't even need, or I still haven't worn. So I looked at that. I don't have a spouse, by the way. I'm just saying, but I looked at it and I said, I don't think I should do this anymore. So can you talk about spontaneous spending, figuring that out? Because I think that's a big factor.
Yeah. And with technology these days and social media, you can have these apps on your phone that spring up, and emails are sent to you, and you're like, oh, that's where your spontaneity is. And like with all these shopping websites, your credit card or your card's already installed on it, right? How scary is that? When that first happened to me, I was like, wow, this is dangerous, because you could just click one click.
One click. Used to be Home Shopping Network, right? Used to be Home Shopping Network years ago on the television. And I remember my mom used to stay up and watch it, and you'll see packages show up. But that was the only thing around. Now it's like everywhere you look. I mean, you're just looking at a TV commercial, it pops up, scan it on your phone, that kind of thing.
And it's really scary, isn't it? Because somehow all of these things are linked, and they are bombarding you. So one of the things I say to my clients is that, take your credit card, your card details off that app, remove yourself from the email list, remove the app from your phone, And I had a lovely client, a lovely young lady, and she had this emergency fund, and it was all accessible on her phone. And then she wanted a new pair of shoes, and she said she just took it out of her emergency fund. And I'm like, okay, let's just look into that, and let's remove your emergency fund from your phone, right? You want it to be easily accessible, but not that easy. So I would say no, not that easy. So I would say that's one of my top tips, is just be mindful of what's being fed into you. And then also, getting your friends to be accountable, and saying to them, you've got to, I can't go to the shopping mall this weekend, or tonight. Let's meet somewhere else. Come around to my house. I can cook you a meal. So just to take away those temptations.
Right. I know that's, I stick to the budget. I'm always thinking about that. And I'm always sticking to the budget I'm always thinking, okay, I spent my entertainment money, and I go by year. I go by year. So there's a certain amount that I go by every month. I have. So I was like, oh, I spent the entertainment money. That's enough. That I won't do that. I figure it out. And not gift giving, but when someone asks you to donate,
Mm-hmm.
that's also a challenge, especially
Yeah.
around this time. Talk about that, because people get upset when you don't want to donate. Like you like, I think I gave all my money out, and then you end up giving out, and then you kind of lack in another area.
Yeah.
Talk about like donations as well, thinking about that in your budget.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to have what we call like a category for giving
Yes.
away, because I don't know
Yeah.
about you, but the cost of living here has just gone through the roof, and we've had to
Us.
make
Yeah.
adjustments. Our food bill this week was horrendous, and we did not buy anything different, and it was just, and it's almost double. And I'm in the car on the way home, my husband's driving. I'm in the car and I'm looking at the receipt going, the simple things like your laundry detergent is now double what it used to be.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
just have to make sure that, with giving, sometimes there is a sacrifice, and you have to make a sacrifice. Maybe, no eating out or no entertaining if you feel that
Right.
you want
Right.
to
Right.
give. If this is a charity or a worthy cause that you are passionate about,
Right.
then absolutely give.
Yeah.
I think there is joy in giving, yeah, and
Right.
especially to a
Exactly.
cause that you know. But you're
Hmm.
right. This time of year, there are so many great worthy causes to be giving to, but you just have to make sure that you are still looking after your family.
Yeah.
First, you need to have your food
Right.
on the table, and
Right.
your bills are
Right.
paid. But it is really hard, and there are so many great charities out there, but you just have to
Oh,
make sure that
absolutely.
you are
Absolutely.
balancing your budget, and it's
Yeah.
okay to maybe spend less on your food shopping so that you can give more to your charity, your
Hmm.
favorite charity.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
just make sure, and sometimes it's okay to say no. Sometimes you can say, I'd
Yeah.
really love to
Yeah.
support this
Yeah.
cause, but I've already given to another charity this month. I've already tithed this month.
Yeah.
But let me just keep that in my mind for the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
So
And
you're
then that's what I
completely
say.
honest.
That's what I say. Yeah. That's what I say. Because I was like, either I eat or I give to this charity. It's like because I'm single now. I have children, but they live away from home. So, like you said, that grocery bill, and I'm on like a restrictive diet. So that grocery
It's
bill was
expensive,
like this.
right?
Now it's like this, same amount of money. I'm
Yeah,
like, oh, so you have to stretch
yeah,
everything. And so I have learned to add donations as a category for,
yes,
either 6 months or a year, add how, giving donations. And
yeah,
if it's like $5, that's not a problem.
yeah, not
Like,
so
yeah,
cheap. Yeah,
but like, larger ones, it's like, okay, I have to think this through. I can't just
yeah,
make, when you're approached, oh, I can't make that decision right now, but let me just
no,
think about it. And, is there someone I could contact, later on, something like
yeah,
that. But I've done that in the past, and I've gotten an ouch, a real big
yeah.
ouch at the end,
Yeah, yeah, and it's great because you don't want to be put under pressure. You want to go away and maybe
Yeah.
pray about it and think about it and make like an
Yeah.
informed decision. Because as you say,
Right.
you've got to also put food on the table, but you also want to bless these charities. But you've got to
Yeah.
make that informed
Absolutely.
decision.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to make it. That's great. That's a great note to it all. You have to make an informed decision. Spontaneity is great when you're in love.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah, but
naked by the water. That's great.
yeah,
But with
but
your
it could get you
finances,
into
it's not.
trouble, right? Yeah.
Yes, it can.
It's a bit
It
like
can.
that, spontaneity when you go shopping, like in the shopping malls, something sparkling
Yes.
and pretty, you want
Yes.
it then and there, but you haven't really thought about it. I guess it's like stuff putting in your baskets on these online shops. Put it in the
Yes. Yes.
basket for sure, but then leave it for 24, 48 hours. Do you still need
Yes.
it? Just go away
Absolutely.
and think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wanted to ask another question about finances, and it's possibly with spouses or singles. It's around being an entrepreneur. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, we know that when you put into the business, it is an investment.
Mm.
But I've seen so many of my clients, everything that comes out is like a shiny new object, and they want to get involved. This can help my business. They don't really know much about it, but this is this shining thing. Like you said, when those little flashes come on your computer, and you see, oh, buy this, buy that. That happens along with being an entrepreneur because you're trying to move your business along.
Yes.
And I know that you being a spouse and you're an entrepreneur yourself. How do you not have that spontaneous? How do you talk about that with your spouse? Because it really is a twofold decision, right?
Yeah, it is absolutely. Yeah, we talk about it, and there are you subscribe to things, or you get you get this free ebook or something, and you're on the email list, getting all these things. So I weigh up the pros and cons. I do as many free things as I can, free masterclasses and things. Just listen to podcasts and get as much free information as I can, and then if I really want to do something, I'll sit down with my husband and say, I really like this. What would especially if it's a big item. I just bought something the other day for $7. I don't feel I needed to speak to him about that. I told him, but it wasn't a decision that we needed to make really. And but there's something on my radar that's around $3,000, and we've said, and it's coming from me. I said, look, I'd really like to do this, but in the future. We can't afford it yet. It's when I've saved a bit more money business side, then I'll put it towards that. But coming from the I don't want to bring it from the family finances, because
gotcha. Okay.
I don't feel that's fair on the family. There's so much else you could do with $3,000. So I'm just gonna build up a little fund and then pay for it with that. But you do get bombarded with emails, SEO and all this kind of stuff, and email challenge creator challenge courses and all things like this that you think, oh great, so you click on the link and it's like thousands of dollars. And that, I don't know about you, Edna, but I just can't write a check for $2,000-$3,000 right now. So it's I'd like to do that, but just not yet. So you have to have that control, and definitely
I think you have to know your business too. You have to know, is this going I always ask myself, is this going to benefit my business? And then if I don't know the answer, or I can't get the answer, well, I ask pertinent questions. What does it do for this type of business? And I ask the questions, like you said, to make an educated decision. Then most of the time when you get those emails, it's to make a spontaneous decision, not an informed decision.
You've got 48 hours and this offer will go and the price will increase.
It's always pushing you towards that. And I'm finding, or I have found in my past works, that when that happens, there's a reason why. And it always is not good. It always ends up not good. So, you have to make informed decisions for your business. And you have to, what's important that I spoke about before is budget. I have a budget and my business has a budget. And you just said it. I don't take the money out of our personal family, money. I take it out of the business money. And if I don't have it there, I don't use it, right? I don't. Exactly. And don't put it on a credit card, because that's a whole nother problem.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Paying cash is one thing that I highly recommend, because that credit card, the interest on some of these credit cards is just mind-boggling right now. So pay cash, 100% behind you there. Yeah,
I believe that. So how can everyone find you? I know you do a lot of things on virtually. So how can they find you?
Yeah, well, my website is moneyandmarriage.net. On there, I've got a few freebies. My most popular ebook is How to Get on the Same Financial Page as Your Spouse. I'm also on Instagram, Money and Marriage 2, Facebook, Karen Money and Marriage, and LinkedIn, Karen Hackman. And I just thought, Edna, something that you might be interested in. I have a Facebook group called No Spend Challenge 2024. And it's a very small group of people, less than 100 people, where we are all encouraging each other to spend less than we earn and to stop those impulse buys. And it's just a group of mainly ladies. I think I've got one man in there, but men are always welcome. We talk about going shopping and you saw this, and then maybe you went to Bath and Body Works, and you just blew the budget because the discounts and the smells, and we just have a great time. Very engaging, supportive, loving group. We're just support each other, and I love it, and it's completely free. And your listeners will be more than welcome to join us. Just helping people win with money, and it's cost of living crisis. It's for me, it's going out of control. So we just need as much support and love as we can get.
Absolutely. Well, I really thank you for that. Audience, please look for that at the bottom of this video, or look for it in on the end of the audio of this, okay? So that you can get in touch with Karen, and she can give you this information, especially this No Spend Challenge 2024, especially that. You want to do that right now. So I really thank you for this. And one point to the audience, please. As Karen said, you can have all the counseling you want in the beginning before you get married, but remember to have some financial counseling, because they tell you that even in dating, that you have to consider their credit and how much they make. That's part of being, what do they call it when you couple together? What is it called? And when you're intertwined with each other, when you're going to bond with someone, that's important. All right, guys? So what's the last word, Karen? What's the last word you can tell the audience?
My last word is, if you are in debt, there is hope. There is hope for you. Do not panic. There is hope. Open all those bills, find out what the big picture is, and then make some goals to get that debt down.
Awesome. Well, this is at the end of the show, but this is Edna White, your host, and on Keeping It Real on Purpose, and my guest, Karen Hackman, saying goodbye for now.
Goodbye.